Hi everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be taking you through my most used and most loved complexion products at the moment. And with complexion products, I basically mean anything that's like a foundation or a skin tint or tinted moisturizer. I'm not going to be talking about concealers or like setting powders, even though I know they're technically called complexion products as well. But I didn't want to call this video my favorite foundations because I am actually going to be mentioning a lot of more light coverage options, which are more of a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer. So I thought this would be a helpful video to kind of share with you guys my skin type and also what I love using for that and everything, so that this can sort of like work as a guide if you are looking for a new complexion product yourself. But if you are new here, then hi, welcome to my channel. I'm so glad you found it. I upload beauty videos 3 to 4 times a week and I would love it if you subscribed. But for now, if you want to see my favorite complexion products at the moment, then please keep watching. So I'm just going to sort of go through these in more of like a random order. The first one I want to share is the Bite Beauty Changemaker Foundation. This is one I recently picked up, and I think we all know now Bite Beauty is going out of business, unfortunately. So if this is still available on their website, I would recommend checking it out because I absolutely love this foundation. Now it is called a micellar foundation, so it has like a certain technology to like look good on your skin. I don't know about that, but I just really enjoy the formula of this. I feel like it goes on my skin really well, but even more importantly, it's super long wearing on me. I don't know what is in this foundation, but this lasts so long on me. My mom even asked me one time at the end of the day, which foundation are you wearing, because it's still on your face so nice, and it was this one from Bite Beauty. So I have this one in a shade L20, and I would say this is more of like a moussey texture. It's not super thin, but it's not super thick either. It goes really well onto the skin and it blends out really nice as well. The only thing I find with this one is I have to be a little careful with how much I apply around my nose, because sometimes with this foundation, if I apply too much, it will sort of like gather around my nose and I really have to like press it in with my brush. So that's the only downside to this. I don't really have that problem with a lot of other foundations, but once I sort of like press it into my skin with my brush, it's just fine and it looks really nice on the skin. I would say the finish of this is rather natural. It's not super glowy, it's also not super matte, so I really do enjoy that as well. For the most part, I do see a lot of people loving this foundation, so I definitely think it is a good option. Now my skin type, I would say it's pretty normal. I have some drier parts on my skin, but then I also sort of have a more oily T-zone. My skin is not really acne prone, and I also don't have a lot of texture on my skin. I feel like my skin is pretty smooth. Let me show you guys this. I'm not wearing this foundation, I'm wearing a different one, but just to show you, my skin is pretty smooth, so that definitely helps me with foundation. And this foundation just looks really nice on my skin. It doesn't emphasize any extra texture or anything like that, and it's just really pretty. So this Changemaker foundation from Bite Beauty I do really love, and it's one of my favorites. Also, the coverage from the Bite Beauty one is like a light to medium. You can definitely build it up to a medium, but you cannot build it up as much as this one, which is the one I want to talk about next. This is the one I'm wearing today, which is the Charlotte Tilbury Flattest foundation. If you're wondering about this makeup look, by the way, I filmed this for Monday's video, so I will have that linked down below. I did do a full face of Charlotte Tilbury makeup, but this is the Charlotte Tilbury Flattest foundation. Now this one I have been using for quite a long time. Not this bottle, I just got this bottle, but my previous bottle, I used to have this in a shade 2 neutral and I wore it all the time, but I did feel like the shade was a little bit light for me, so I ordered a shade deeper, which I now have this in a shade 3 neutral. I used to have the shade 2 neutral, but this foundation I have been using for definitely 1.5 years, I think, and I just absolutely love this. Like I said, it is a foundation I'm currently wearing. I feel like it looks super smooth on my skin. It makes my skin look so even and it goes on my skin really well. It blends out nice, and just everything about this foundation I really love. I truly feel like this is one of the best full coverage foundations for me. But what I love about this is that you can also just apply a little bit and then it's more of like a medium coverage and it looks really pretty as well. So this doesn't always need to be a full coverage foundation. If you take like a full pump, it definitely is a full coverage foundation, but if you only take half a pump or like 1/3 of a pump, it's definitely more natural on the skin, which I do enjoy on some days as well. But this is just such a good foundation. If there's any product I love from today's video, it's the Charlotte Tilbury Flattest foundation. This has to be my #1 favorite complexion product. I sort of like stopped using it for a few months because I thought the shade was a bit light for me, but then I missed having it in my collection, so I'm glad to have it back now. This foundation is just perfection for me. A skin tint I absolutely love is this one from Fenty Beauty. This is called the Eavesdrops Blurring Skin Tint. I have mine in the shade 3, and this is what the bottle looks like. This is quite popular on the internet as well. It's just like a little skin tint like this. And what I love about this is that for a skin tint, it looks so natural in the skin, but it still covers like a little bit of things. Like for instance, I've tried the La Mercier Tinted Moisturizer and it barely covered anything. And with my complexion products, I don't need like a lot of coverage all the time, but usually I want to see that I'm wearing something, because if it still looks like how my skin looks without makeup, like what's the point in wearing it? So even with the skin tint, I do like a little bit of coverage, and this one from Fenty Beauty really does the job. It looks super natural on the skin, but it still covers the perfect amount. From the 3 products I just showed you, this one is the lightest coverage. You cannot build it up as much, but this has such a natural finish as well. It's not too glowy, it's not too matte. It wears really well. For a skin tint, this wears really well throughout the day. For instance, my Say Beauty one I once wore when I went to an amusement park for the day, and by the end of the day my skin tint has pretty much disappeared, but this one will stay on my face all day. It will definitely fade a little bit throughout the day, but for the most part this stays on really nice. So this Fenty Beauty Eavesdrops Blurring Skin Tint I think is my favorite skin tint in my collection at the moment. The Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator. Now I got this really recently. This was in my like Tarte Build Your Own kit, so I got this for a really great deal, and this is definitely the lightest coverage out of all the products I just showed. But this I absolutely love for no makeup days where I just want to even out my skin a little bit, have some more hydration, and this looks really beautiful on the skin. With this one I have pretty much only been applying it with a brush, but I feel like with a sponge this one would be even prettier because it would be a little bit more natural. But even with a brush this applies really well. This is definitely a bit more glowy on the skin. It's not as matte as the other options I showed you, so if you have an oily skin type then be careful of that. But if you set it with powder, I feel like it still stays on the skin really nice. Now I do have this in the shade 10N Fair Neutral, which I think is the lightest shade. This was the only shade that was available when I was building my kits, so I don't think it's my perfect shade. It's a little bit light, but I don't think it's that bad either. It definitely works for me. I am just pretty pale, so I can totally make this work, and I do really enjoy this. So this one I reach for mostly on like very warm days or days where I just want like a tiny bit of coverage, but still this evens out my skin quite well, and it feels really hydrating on the skin. So if you are looking for like a very light option that still like evens out the skin a little bit, I would recommend this one because it does even out the skin, but it's still that really beautiful light coverage option. So that is the Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator. And for the last product, probably the most famous one out of all the ones I just talked about, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. This is everywhere on the internet, and this is truly a beautiful product. I'm going to say it again. This is the lightest coverage option out of all the products I just showed you. It is even lighter coverage than the Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator, but really what makes this product so special is the glow. This just gives the most beautiful glow to the skin. I don't have a very oily skin, so I totally wear this one on its own with just a little bit of concealer and setting powder, and this just gives your skin the most gorgeous glow. I wouldn't say it covers a whole lot. I don't think it's meant to be for that. It definitely works well as a primer under foundation as well, but when you wear this on its own, it still sort of like smooths the skin, evens out the skin tone, and just makes your skin look really pretty. It's not going to be like a big transformation just because this doesn't have a lot of coverage, so you're still going to see your skin through this product. It just makes it more glowy, a little bit more flawless, and sort of just like a filter on your skin. So this product I really do enjoy wearing on no makeup days, and I feel like this lasts me so long. I do wear this in the shade Too Fair. I also think this is really pretty under that Airbrush Flawless foundation. So the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter is definitely worth the hype for me, and I get why we see it everywhere. So I have just swatched all of the foundations on my arm right here, so you can sort of like see the difference in finish and coverage as well. Right here we have the Bite Beauty Changemaker Foundation in L20. Here we have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Foundation in 3. The Fenty Beauty Eavesdrops Blurring Skin Tint is this one right here in the shade 3. It definitely looks a lot deeper than I thought it is, but because this is so sheer, it does blend out on the skin really well, and it does work for my skin tone. Then we have the Tarte Maracuja Tinted Hydrator in the shade 10 Fair Neutral, and lastly the Hollywood Flawless Filter in the shade 2. And it's also like the most sheer. It really like blends away pretty much into like just a gorgeous glow. The other ones do have quite a bit of coverage to them. This is what the Bite Beauty looks like blended out. Then the Charlotte Tilbury one really like sets down into like more of a matte finish. And then the Fenty Beauty for a skin tint, it has a really nice amount of coverage as well. So this is what all the foundations look like swatched. Okay everyone, then this is it for my current most used and most loved complexion products. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Let me know if you own any of the products I just showed you. I would love to hear your opinion on them as well. And also let me know your favorite complexion product. And if you did enjoy this video, then I would absolutely love it if you gave it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell if you don't miss any of my videos. All of these things would help me so much with my channel and I'd really appreciate it. But with that said, and thank you guys all so much for watching. I really hope you have an amazing day and I really hope to see you in my next video. Bye!